3, 2, 1. Today's podcast is presented by PODGO. PODGO is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from PODGO. We recently joined as a member, and you can too. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. Don't forget to add the 2-on-1 podcast in the How Did You Hear About PODGO section of your application. Now get ready for the rest of the episode.
Guys, we're back.
We are.
Woo! Come on, no more energy. Talk about this. God dang it.
It's
Woo!
cold. It's cold.
No more energy.
We're back at school.
Yeah.
God.
It's been a slow few days of junior virtual Ryerson. Unfortunately, guys, I just heard a little chuckle here because it looks like the cat dragged Mike in through the door. Mike,
Oh yeah. Unfortunate, eh? What's up, guys?
oh,
Real unfortunate.
nothing much. May have asked Mike to come on about 2 hours ago. Just to be like, hey, why not? Because normally we've been getting the show's runtime nice and concise lately. But I thought, hey, let's just get Mike on and just have a good old time.
Just
Let's
ditch
disrupt-
all that.
5 hour
disrupted a
show.
bit,
Let's
yeah.
go.
So I think to start the show, Daniel, do you want to make the announcement?
About this being your
Oh, we
last
have
episode for
we
now?
have two
Yeah.
announcements. I forgot
We
about
know that.
Let's
We
just-
got our announcement.
that. Okay.
Oh, well, let's get that one out of the way first. So, Adam, why is this a special episode for you?
Well, it's not really special. It's more sad. As I haven't shut up about on the podcast, I'm talking to you guys. I'm getting double jaw surgery on Friday. So I'm going back to Toronto tomorrow. And then, surgery is Friday. I'm going to be at the hospital for 10. Surgery's at 12.
Ooh.
I'll be out of commission for a bit because my mouth will be bandaged shut and the swelling is bad where I look like a chipmunk, apparently. Doctor's words, not mine. So I'll be out for a few weeks here. If I can get back for free agency, because this is what's really awesome. So the first round of the playoffs has now been moved. It's been moved
Draft.
to 6th of October.
The draft. You
First
said
round-
playoffs.
Sorry. Oh, God, I wish. The second round to the 7th is the October 7th now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 8th is my birthday. And then I believe the 9th is free agency.
That is correct.
So a great birthday present. And hopefully I will be back for that. So for the foreseeable future, it's going to be Alex and Daniel steering the ship here without me.
I have
So
a few 6 hour shows.
I thought you were going to say something else instead of ship.
get used to the run times, getting a lot longer.
We'll get some Joe Rogan length episodes.
Yeah.
Today,
6 hours.
yeah, we thought to get Mike on because I wanted to have everyone on for a nice little, let's just have a chat. A party was like, man, let's just get Will and Donald. Let's just have like an
Everyone's just yelling at the same time.
even though whenever we talk basketball, I wouldn't know what's happening. We talk hockey, Donald may not know what's happening. It would have just been a complete dumpster fire.
Let's be
That would've been
honest.
fun.
Let's be honest. Half the episode would be Mike and Will just going back and forth.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting a phone call from my mother, so if you want to do the other announcement while I quit the
Okay, Daniel. Let
Okay.
everyone know what's up.
So, this is tough, man. But, actually, no, it's good news. But for the upcoming, I guess, fall semester, I will be the sports editor for the Riconian.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Good
I know.
stuff. Big
Thank you,
ups,
thank
Mr.
you.
Daniel. Oh yeah.
Great news, but the unfortunate thing is I will not be able to write any articles for the Eye Opener for a while. And I did not tell Will yet.
So this is how he's going to
Betraying us.
find out. This is how he's going to
Betraying
find out.
You should just let Will point out.
Just ask him, hey man, did you listen to the episode?
It's in the first 5 minutes.
just listen to the first bit. Trust me, you need to.
Breaking news, Daniel's your big competitor now. We joked last episode that, like, when we were talking about like maybe getting Will, yourself, Mike, and Donald all on, that we maybe cause an argument that would rip apart Eye Opener Sports as we know it. But now, like, I don't know what we because I would assume now, Alex, we have to take the side of the Ryerson because our third co-host has now taken it.
I guess so.
Damn.
Like,
Damn.
I guess Mike's not allowed on the show anymore.
It's like PSN and Sportsnet.
Unless we did like the shared Raptors thing and they kept playing like
That's true.
old games where like they shared the broadcasting with them.
He's like, I'm kind of with the eye. Conflict of interest.
Yeah. So, but seriously, congratulations, Daniel. That's so awesome.
Yes, sir. That's awesome stuff, man.
Thank you.
Big ups.
Yeah.
You.
The eye opener's loss is the Ryerson game here. Sorry, Will. That's tough. But
Will, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm team eye opener.
Where are you? For how much longer? Free agent. Try and swoop him up, Ryerson.
Like me, I work at Bell, and the TSN guys are across the hall from me.
Yeah.
But I watch Sportsnet a lot. Maybe a little more. I don't know.
Maybe all the time.
So basically, if work sees this, I'm fired.
There's more Sportsnet friends of the show than there are TSN
I'll
here.
just save it all now and say Sportsnet do have the national broadcast, so we see it naturally. But we love all mediums, the athletic, anyone who we could possibly work for in the future. We love you all equally.
Yeah,
except maybe one.
What?
Maybe a newspaper.
Oh, okay. We're going to get into that, are we? Well, I mean, a guy from that certain newspaper, good old Steve Simmons, wrote an article.
Boom,
good old.
That guy sucks.
Good old.
What? Who said that? I saw.
And it was all about apparently the reputation of Kyle Dubas having, quote, high asking prices for his players. So, like, GMs were upset that he wanted a high price and got said high price. They're like very capping, and they're mad about the high asking price.
You mean he did his job?
I know, right? Maximize assets? Question mark.
It's so weird that they're just being hypocrites. It's, you know what? You're not allowed to negotiate. Okay, that's clearly what's happening here.
No, you're not allowed.
When you offer William Nylander $5 million, that's okay. But when you ask for a first-round pick and a B prospect for Kasperi Kapanen, that's clearly an issue. That's what it is.
I mean, I think it was run-of-the-mill, Pittsburgh just giving up picks like that again. So
I'm sorry Jim Rutherford is on the older side of things. Yeah. Like, I apologize that he thought he was getting Timothy
his senility is our gain.
Yeah. Sorry, he thought he was getting Timothy Liljegren. My bad.
I mean, okay, we had this discussion before. We at least appreciate that Jim Rutherford does what he does to try and make the Penguins, Malkin and Crosby competitive as always, but it was a high asking price for Kasperi Kapanen. But
I think Jack Johnson.
This is just Steve Simmons being Steve Simmons. Like, I don't necessarily blame him for putting out this article, because I think it is a talking point. Like, clearly there's GMs who are quote unquote upset about it. But I don't think anyone else had this scoop. Clearly not. Or they did, and they just thought, it's not worth my time.
Well, Simmons clearly doesn't like Dubas. Like, we all know.
Yeah, he's a Mark Hunter guy.
Did you guys talk earlier about how he had a feud with James Myrtle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Team Myrtle. Did you guys?
I know.
Obviously, you guys talked about how Matthews just Mr. Balls Matthews just comes out here. It's like,
we did.
And quite honestly, Steve, I don't appreciate that. Really, in his mind, he's like, screw you, Steve. Like,
and Morgan probably looks to the thingy like, oh boy, here it comes.
What not to do in J-School for context.
that should be the new prime example.
Everything that Steve seems to do, it's the opposite of what we've been taught, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Hey, someone's personal health information, send it. It's so silly that, like, he clearly has a hate for Dubas here.
Oh, clearly.
Of course, like, who else in Toronto media would you go to complain about Kyle Dubas? That results in an article like this. Well, yeah, you go to Steve Simmons.
Yeah, it's just another Steve Simmons thing. But, like, I think from a GM perspective, why does this upset you? Like, was anyone else actually going to give a better pick than 15th overall?
I really don't think we get a better deal at all.
No.
Who else than we? Yeah.
Like, only other opportunity I'd see was Carolina getting it back and giving it back, but they didn't want to do it.
The Leafs officially now have the chance at getting someone that Daniel is just absolutely licking his chops for in Askarov. You see
love it.
Daniel like,
Yes.
Askarov, watch.
I think we're all on it, right, guys?
A little bit. A
You
little
going for
bit.
that pick? No.
No.
No, I don't know.
He'd
Listen,
be the last time the Leafs took a goalie in the first round was Tuukka Rask. So
yeah, and then
Oh,
they
I
I
proceeded
can
to
believe.
trade it
Yes.
right after.
But they won't trade this guy. I believe
Who?
it.
I don't remember that guy.
Yeah.
Does
Is that the
Alex
same
remember
guy?
that guy?
Is that the same guy who left his team and the fans and management? Is that the guy we're talking about?
Yeah, he
no.
quit on the fan.
Did he quit on the fans?
Oh,
Unbelievable, Tuukka.
tough angle.
Man, tough soak for Tuukka Rask. That poor guy. Like, oh, hey, my daughter's sick. I'm just going to go, be a good father. Oh, he gave up on all of it.
We all hate you. Screw your family. No.
Who was the guy who put that really dumb tweet out? What was his
I
name?
don't remember. I forgot it.
Mark something.
Mark Loserface.
Okay.
I was thinking of something worse, but
I saw a lot of hateful tweets towards him for that. I'm like, dude, like, come on. Like, I mean, I get that he played 2 games, but like, let the guy be. I mean, he's a newborn.
It's just it's just so weird to think that a lot of people just he gave up on his teammates. Like, yeah, like you said, like he did play. He played a few games. He came in and he tried.
He looked terrible, but that's a different story.
Hey,
he clearly didn't want to be there.
Yeah, like, and the Bruins entirely in that first round were in the round robin were kind of nasty.
But it's one of those like where you think, like as time goes by, like, as I play some games, I can make it work even though I don't want to be there. But then you realize after you play those games, yeah, I still don't want to be here. At least he did it. He did it in a play-in round, if I'm correct, right? He didn't do it in the playoff.
Yeah, it was a playing round. But
Yeah,
he left because
I mean the round robin. He did it,
Yes,
and not
yes,
the
yes,
okay,
round
okay. So that's
He-
better at least. I
yeah,
will
but
give
he
him that.
left because his daughter was sick and in the hospital. If it was the Stanley Cup
Okay, yeah.
final, that's
Yeah.
what the issue is. I don't think people are grasping at that, and I think we've talked about it more than
Even
enough,
if it was the Cup final, Game 7, my daughter is sick in the hospital. Like, I'm going home.
yeah.
I'm gonna go be with my family. Like, dude, come on. People often forget that although they are professional hockey players, they're paid handsomely. There are a lot with some pretty interesting personalities that may not always vibe with others, but at the end of the day, humans are human beings. We all have responsibilities, people we love. Like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Matt Murray, I remember he had to leave a while back, and Fleury had to take the reins because his father passed away. It's not like you're going to be like, oh, my father died. There's nothing I can do now, so I'm just going to stay here and play hockey. No, what's wrong with you?
Well, didn't a football player do that? Wasn't that the argument? But there was an argument going around. I
don't know, but I'm going to stay so far away from that because there's so many different things that'll go into that. But like,
yeah, like whatever.
All right, let's move on from the Rash stuff because we have talked about it before.
And Steve Simmons. Let's move away from that too. That guy.
The Bruins are dead anyway. We don't care about them anymore. They're gone. We'll bring it. We'll mention it for the 3rd straight time, even though the new round has started. The Boston Bruins have been eliminated. Just remember that. That's the highlight.
By a team in blue in Toronto that isn't the Leafs.
Does that make you feel better, Mike? Or
No.
It's so bizarre. It's like bizarre.
Sorry,
You know what I mean?
it doesn't make me feel better at all.
It doesn't. There's 2 big arguments that people try and get me. They're like, oh, the Leafs lost, or the Bruins lost to a team in blue and white in Toronto.
Okay.
Like, that doesn't make me feel better. It's literally another divisional rival. They're like, okay. Also, that's like when people are trying to tell me to cheer on Vancouver.
Because it's Canada's
The last
team.
Canadian team.
No, that's not.
I never
how it
liked that
works.
argument about those things. Like,
It's not how it works.
I'm like, I'm not going to cheer for Vancouver. I hate Vancouver. I love Vegas. I want Vegas to win it all.
Yeah.
Hey, it was fun rooting for Thatcher Demko while he was doing his whole thing, though.
But you guys are a monster.
Yeah. We're talking about maybe each of us giving a Conn Smythe winner for each team, and I think Shea Theodore should definitely be on the top of the list for Vegas because without him, they weren't scoring on
He
Thatcher.
has like 4 goals and 7 assists or something right now.
He's yucky good.
Shea Theodore is my favorite goal tonight by far.
I think he's another guy on this podcast. He had him on his theoretical Canadian Olympic
Yeah.
roster. Daniel, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Imagine
I think
how-
7th defenseman.
Imagine having to protect Kevin Bieksa and
Oh, we're gonna bring this one up again. It was for Josh Manson and Sammy Vatanen.
But they had to protect Kevin Bieksa.
Because the condition of that too was because the Ducks are over the cap. They had to get rid of Clayton Stoner's contract. Another old time Bob Murray signing I didn't like, but they had to get rid of him off the books. So the Knights had to take him as well. So
Is Stoner
at the
in
time,
is Stoner in the jungle now or where?
I think
The jungle is what I refer to as the AHL.
Yeah, I think he's retired. He had a lot of injury problems.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
remember
sure
that.
he's
So I was wondering if he retired or if he went to the jungle.
I want to say he went to Calgary again.
Clayton Stoner? No, that was Michael
that's
Stone.
Michael Stone because they bought him out and then signed him again.
This is true. This is
I
true.
almost forgot about that guy.
I mean, we don't blame you.
That's just like the two Hamilton brothers. You don't forget
Freddie.
whatever Freddie Hamilton.
Freddie. Oh my God. Lads, we'll talk about some awards quickly because every day, certainly the other day, we're finding out all the award winners because we can't have a show, obviously. Bobby Ryan wins the Masterton Trophy for sportsmanship and all that kind of stuff. Perseverance, a lovely, lovely award. Even though, and we've talked about this on the show, we had a text conversation with you about it, Mike, at some point. It's so weird to think of the Masterton as an award because, you want to recognize these players' struggles, but then it's and apparently I believe the voting was before Lindbaum's return. So it's okay, so you're going to get an award and it's almost like saying substance abuse.
No, he
Do that. It's so tough. It shouldn't be an award. You can't do finalists and just give it to one guy. It should be more of an honoring rather than a presentation to a single guy.
Yeah.
Straight up, I hate this award. I absolutely love the characters that get nominated for this award because, a lot of these guys have gone through a great deal. I'm telling you right now, I think I've already said this on this pod. There's no way I could have picked the finalists for this, there's no way I could have
Picked a winner.
could have picked a winner because Stephen Johns hasn't played in 2 years because of crazy post-concussion syndrome, freaking suicidal thoughts in a dark room while dealing with symptoms. That's horrible. You never want anybody to go through that. Oscar Lindblom, cancer. Dude, that's all you gotta say. Beat it. He kicked cancer's ass. Good for him. Love that. But one of the best stories all year. And then Bobby Ryan, who obviously everybody knows for the most part. Bobby Ryan he's told his story before about his rough childhood, his father going to jail and whatnot, being moved around. His name isn't even Bobby Ryan. It's Bobby. I forgot his actual.
Oh, it's Robert Earl Stevenson.
Yeah, Bob Stevenson is his name. Robert Earl Stevenson. But yeah, and then it's not something that just goes away. He had to go to the NHL Player Assistance Program for alcoholism. It's not easy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
None of these three things are easy to overcome at all. So that's why I hate this award, but I love the players that get, and especially this year. I remember last year you had Robin Lehner as well. I forgot the other finalists, pardon me, but it's just such a tough award.
Mm-hmm.
But whether they picked Bobby, whether they picked Oscar, whether they picked Jamie Alexiak, either or, I think all these finalists are great. Bobby Ryan, congratulations to you, but this award's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also a bit silly, isn't it, Daniel, and this is a point we've made before, when you talk about all these guys, so I think Robin Lehner's a great one. I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Mott also gets some spotlight for this.
I remember that. I remember his mental health talk.
And then you go back, Daniel, and you look at Yager won it because he's old and he played a lot. And it's I don't know. I don't in the same part where Koivu won it when he came back from cancer as well. Yeah, it's a tough.
It's weird to measure these things. It's like saying who had the worst struggle with something, and it's not a good way to gauge these things. It's just always tough talking about these things. But yeah, for sure, I'm happy about Bobby Ryan. He's been on ascend for a while, but I remember as a Duck, he was one of my favorites, and it was tough for even him coming to Ottawa with that huge contract that Brian Murray gave him, and like the criticism he got on Twitter, like, oh yeah, you're putting up 48 points a season now because you don't have Getzlaff, throwing you the puck or anything or all that stuff. But he's still like a solid player, and I'm still a huge fan of him.
Yeah, I don't think the fans make it any better either. I don't know if when they announced the nominees, it was like Flyers, Dallas Stars, and Senators fans fighting over each other who had the worst and came back.
Mike,
that's
the most.
Like, it's the oddest thing.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just coming together and being like, all these guys had so many struggles, they overcame them, and it's fantastic.
I think it's just one of those situations where if you love something, don't look at the comment section.
Yeah, for real.
This is very, very true. Next, where we found out right before the show, actually, the finalists for the Jim Gregory Award, a.k.a. General Manager of the Year. And this is what's really weird. The voting for this happened after the end of the second round. So guess who got it? Julien Brisebois, GM of Tampa Bay. Lou Lamoriello, General Manager of the New York Islanders, who are playing Tampa Bay right now. And Jim Nill, General Manager of the Dallas Stars, who are, guess what, playing right now.
Interesting.
I think for me, Tampa, Julien Brisebois was going to be a finalist for me anyways, looking at how he organized his team and is preparing his team for even next year, like bringing in Coleman and Goudreau who are on low salaries, and knowing that he has to still get rid of one or two of Palat, Gourde, Johnson, Killorn. And like, there's guys that will probably come up next year. Like, there's always the odd name in Tampa Bay who comes up and plays well. So I think for me, like, the other two names I think were kind of just a toss up. Like, I know Don Sweeney was one guy, and I don't remember what another common name that we said, but
I made an argument for Pierre Dorian, which
there's an argument for Pierre Dorian.
I think I said Jarkko Kekalainen.
As you guys know, as I'm a member of Sen's Army now.
Shut up, Mike. Get out of here.
And that's why I blocked up the Leafs jersey.
You and your 10 other Sens fans can hold hands.
Drive to the Canadian Tire.
Yeah, you guys gonna take a 45-minute bus ride to the Canadian Tire?
It's really not that far. It's really not that far. Like,
come on, Mike. That's a lie.
I'm not lying. I live in Ottawa now. I know where the Canadian Tire Center is. I know how far Canada is.
Okay, how far is it on game day? Like, if it's game day, there's got to be some type of traffic.
It also depends on where they're staying. If they're staying in downtown Ottawa, like near me, where I work at the Byward Market, then, like, if they're staying at the Chateau Laurier by Parliament, like, A, that's luxurious, and B, you're looking at a half an hour.
Mm-hmm. Shall we move on to the next award?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one that probably should get more attention. We don't really do it because it's not really, you don't get it from NHL players and their staff. But the Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award, and I will read the actual description of the award now. Named after the first black player to ever play in the NHL, this award goes to an individual who has made a positive impact on their community, culture, or society to make people better through hockey. Now, in its third season, a committee that includes O'Ree selects the finalists, with the public choosing the winner. And the winner this year, and I apologize because I'm not going to pronounce this right.
Dampy Brar.
Dampy Brar. Okay, well, Michael, thank you very much. Brar.
I mean, it's pretty simple to pronounce. I'm just looking at it now.
I'm going to keep going here. There are more words that I'm not going to pronounce right. So if I can finish, Daniel. Michael, God damn it.
Yeah, Michael.
By the way, this article
Michael
is from sportingnews.com. Brar, a former pro hockey player, co-founded Apna Hockey with Lolly Tour. Apna Hockey is an initiative that provides a network and support for South Asian hockey players. He was also involved with the first ever women's hockey team in Ladakh, India, providing mentorship and support. I know I butchered some of those, so my apologies. So quick
Ladakh.
Yeah, to acknowledge that. And then we're going to kind of put this together, and also with Matt Dumba, who won the King Clancy, which is more to do like leadership in the community and all that. Of course, the work that Matt Dumba has done in Minnesota, his work with the Hockey Diversity Alliance. I don't think anyone even questioned the fact that Dumba was going to win this award. I know PK did some other stuff, and PK has been doing community work his entire time in the NHL, and then Henrik Lundqvist was there as well, another great guy, guys. So just a quick word, I guess, on these two great community leaders.
Who were the other finalists?
For which award?
The Clancy.
The Clancy, Lundqvist, and Subban.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think I kind of understand. There's no reason to not understand why Matt Dumba won it with the Hockey Diversity Alliance creation and whatnot. So I'm wondering, so San Jose did like Evander Kane, because every team nominates a Clancy nominee. So like, for example, in Toronto it would be
Mitch.
No, actually Toronto doesn't have one here.
No, every team does it.
Yeah, but the NHL.com just didn't decide to show the Leafs. So
I'm pretty sure it's Mitch though, because
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mitch Marner. But
because I remember when after the playoffs they were talking about Mitch, and I remember in an article specifically saying their nominee was Mitch Marner.
Cool. Well, NHL.com would be nice to update it because it just goes Tampa Bay straight to Vancouver.
That's okay.
So.
It's clearly rigged for us, right? So,
clearly forgot about the Leafs.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Surprised.
Yeah.
No, Matt Dumba, not surprised that Matt Dumba won for the work that he's doing in his community.
I think, personally for me, being also Filipino, it's just been like a big thing where, it's a big thing in the community, like culturally for me too, seeing a Filipino individual like this and kind of taking the reins in a way of being that voice that the Hockey Diversity Alliance really promotes, something that, as like growing up, I always wanted to see. And like, a lot has to be done still, but it's a change that I'm really happy to see, like in this predominantly white sport where you see these guys just like, using their platform in the most effective way.
Yeah. You know what's great about Dumba is he's been getting so much attention for the work he's done. And let's be honest, I think before everything has happened over the past few months, the only time I ever really heard of Matt Dumba was Leafs trade rumors. And it was like Nylander Dumba. So like with the more attention he's getting and all the work, that brings more attention to things like the Hockey Diversity Alliance, which is just another fantastic little layer of frosting. Maybe some sprinkles on that little cake that you love to see.
I hate your analogies.
No, it's funny. That's not what I was going to bring up at all. Because he brought up trades. Speaking of Matt Dumba being traded, it sounds like Matt Dumba is on the block.
He's he's right side.
Stop it, Daniel. I don't want Matt Dumba. I'm sorry.
No. His time is coming fast.
I'm gonna pull up this article. Pull up the tweet I found. I'm pretty sure I sent it to Adam. But my understanding is that Matt Dumba is on the block, and Minnesota is trying to re-sign Jonas Brodin, and it seems to be that if they trade Matt Dumba, they won't be able to sign Jonas Brodin because apparently they're best friends.
That is, see, the thing that you can make fun of Minnesota all you want, though their defense has been fantastic, and the fact that
it's just the money tied to it.
Yeah, and what sucks about it is Dumba is, like, regardless of his defensive play, he's a very good defenseman. He's right-handed. That's coveted in this league. And then if you lose Brodin, who, like, throughout the league has just been known as this, like, simple, great, fantastic stay-at-home defenseman. The fact that you can lose two key parts of your team is
that's two massive holes.
Yeah, it does.
Like, how much are you gonna lean on like Jared Spurgeon and?
I was gonna say Jared Spurgeon is a great player, but that's so much more responsibility to him. Ryan Suter is an absolute workhorse.
It was from Michael Russo, by the way. So
it's pretty good.
That's reliable. Mm-hmm. But it really just feels like they're just tearing down. Like, why would you get rid of Matt Dumba? Like, I understand you're going through a rebuild, but he's not. How old is Matt Dumba? 26?
Like
25?
turning 25, turning 26. Yeah.
I just don't see where the advantage of trading someone like that is.
Matt Dumb is 26. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to get my lick.
Oh,
Yeah,
no problem.
no
Thank
worries.
you.
I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. It's really tough. Like he is a heart and soul player of that team, and while he didn't have the best year, I mean, the Wild weren't a good team this year.
No,
They made the playoffs strictly based on the fact that it was 24 teams.
Yeah.
Like he played 69 games this year, and he chipped in 24 points. To put it into perspective, he played 32 the year before and put up 22 points. 2-point difference in double the games.
And I look at a team like New Jersey, who has Severson
Why are
and
we talking
Butcher.
about New Jersey?
No, just hear me out. Just hear me out. They have two young defensemen. I think they're around the same age. In
Severson.
What's wrong with Damon Severson?
Okay.
What's wrong with Damon Severson?
You just
I like
know
the guy.
my hate for the New Jersey.
I know your hate. I'm not doing this on purpose. I think it's a comparable. Like, okay, they're not necessarily in the same situation, but they're not thinking about trading Severson or Butcher. And I feel like we're sitting here talking about Minnesota, and they're in a rebuilding stage, just like New Jersey.
I for sure think Damon Severson is not the same as Matt Dumba.
I'm not saying he's the same as Matt Dumba. I'm saying that they're both young defensemen who you could potentially like. Is Damon Severson a top 4 defenseman?
God.
What do you mean? No.
Yeah, on New Jersey.
Oh my.
Throw him anywhere else, he's playing your bottom pair.
Okay, I'm going to ask Adam. Adam, is Damon Severson a top 4 defenseman?
I'd say he is, yes.
Will Butcher?
Will Butcher is.
About Will Butcher.
Okay, what's Matt Dumba? What type of defenseman is Matt Dumba from 1 to 6?
I'd say he's a 2, in my opinion.
I'll say
he's a 1, but
he's not a 1.
No, he's not
a 1. I give him max 2. I'm putting him middle pair.
Fair enough.
Okay, so it sounds like he's very similar to Damon Severson.
Okay,
he's number 4.
Do you get the argument I'm saying though? They're not talking about trading the young guys.
Don't make me pick though. They both played for the World Juniors.
So, so let's just put it like this. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong here. You look at like a team like Minnesota, and if you're rebuilding, what I would assume in a rebuild is you do not trade your younger guys. The guys you would build around. And the problem is, like, I don't know, maybe they look at you can't trade Suter. That's not going to happen. How many teams, especially right now in the world, are going to take the Jared Spurgeon deal? So maybe, I don't know what Bill Guerin is thinking. Like, it makes sense to trade him if you wanted to now, because this is the last year before he has any sort of trade protection. But still,
he's a young guy.
A silly decision in my opinion.
Like, I don't think it makes sense.
No, but it's Minnesota. They
Like,
also
how aggressive will they be with that like rebuild? Like, I know like they almost traded Zach Parise, but like those are really tough deals.
Yeah, trying to trade Parise, I think Andrew Ladd literally was the only player you could trade Parise for at this point.
I don't even think that happens anymore. Like, I think Parise was their plan A, but as soon as that dropped and they got Pajot, Parise is just not an option. It doesn't fit their cap. It just doesn't fit. Parise going to the Islanders literally does not fit their cap. They had to re-sign Matt Barzal and Ryan Pulak.
I guess that's why they try and have to like work it out. Which I believe that was the issue, and that's why like Ladd would have to go the other way. But still, I mean, Lamoriello loves him.
And that's 13-year contract
because it was supposed to be. I remember it was like Wallstrom, a first, and Andrew Ladd, and I guess other pieces as well for Zach Parise.
That sounds horrible.
That's a bad trade.
Sounds terrible.
For who?
Both.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're getting assets. If I'm the Wild,
Minnesota's winning that.
Oh
yeah.
Over Wallstrom alone, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take him.
But I don't think Lou's senile to that point.
He almost made the trade. The only
That's the
reason
thing,
it
though.
did,
I wonder where it fell through.
apparently because it got out.
Oh yeah.
This isn't the first time that's happened. Apparently,
Yeah, the Schneider deal almost didn't happen because he said,
Yeah.
"Oh, if this gets out, then I'm canning it." Did Lamorello. So
Yeah.
also apparently it's been. I think this was also from Mike Russo. Koivu is not coming
Done.
back. Apparently they've informed him they're not bringing him back, which
that's
is
not a surprise.
Really?
New captain.
Well,
never got a Selkie, which is
Yeah, I mean, I expected that to happen. Go ahead, Alex. Actually,
no, my understanding was that he was going to retire,
Me
or
too.
he was going to go back and play in Europe.
No.
I thought Friedman said that he wants to play more. Excuse me.
Maybe he changed his mind. We'll see.
I mean, how often do we really get?
Well, let's think about it. What is Mikko Koivu? Like, what's his potential
I
right
think
Just
now?
the
now,
heart
like,
and soul of the team now, really. That's it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if I was, who's their coach? It's not Dean Evison. Dean Evison
Yeah, it
is.
is.
Yeah, if I was Dean Evison, I probably would have scratched him.
So
I
what
would have
team
felt
go?
bad because that's my captain and
Yeah.
he's a couple $1 million, but like he's just useless out there. He's a bottom 2 player.
Is there a team that goes like obviously there is a team that goes out and gets him, but
But that's
Like
the
a
thing,
mil-
though.
like a
Like, it's
million.
different, though. It's not like you're gonna pick up. It's not like you're the Leafs when you pick up Spezza, or when you pick up Marlowe, because he still isn't as skilled as those two were in that part of their career.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to a bottom end team to fill a role or
You know,
something.
I was reading something, and I'm thinking a lot about this, but I think a team that has a lot of potential to pick up those kinds of deals this offseason is Detroit, because they have a lot of cap room. They
Yeah.
need a lot of guidance. They're going to be terrible. They're not going to come back to anything close. They're not going to be competing for a playoff spot for another 2 to 3 years. So that's why they can swallow albatross contracts that, what was our Patty Marlowe contract or anything else in the league, like Parise or anything. Now, obviously, if you're doing that, Detroit has more than every right to expect some serious sweeteners for a deal like that. It's different when you're signing a player like Mikko Koivu because you don't have to trade him. But if they're going to try and pick up somebody's junk, then at least you got to throw a sweetener that way.
Listen, I could see a team like Ottawa picking Mikko Koivu up.
I can see that too.
To fill minutes,
Yeah.
and like he must be a leader. Like you're not a captain for fun.
The only reason I don't see with my beloved Senators is that our owner doesn't want to spend money.
I guess that's true. I guess yeah.
Why have a hockey team and spend money? What's the point of that?
That doesn't make sense.
No. But I mean, also looking at it though, Minnesota is in a bit of a cap crunch, so you can kind of understand why they're not going to bring him back. Like
They're in a cap crunch.
well, they're
Good
going to be in a cap crunch.
Good God.
They have $2 million worth of cap space.
Do they have anyone to sign?
Yeah, they have to sign Galchenyuk, who I think is gone.
Yeah.
Koivu, but 2 big pieces in Luke Cunnin and Jordan Greenway.
Let's see.
On top of that, they got to pay Carson Soucy, but I don't know about that one. But Cunnin and Greenway are both RFAs. Those are your biggest. You got to pay those guys.
I think but if you let Galchenyuk and Koivu is a safe bet already, that's like 10 mil right there.
Yeah. Here it says next season they have $16 million in cap space. That's
Okay.
what cap friendly.
You do wonder though, how much do you have to give Brodin because you have to pay that guy.
That's true.
Brodin, well, that's if you give Brodin an early extension.
I think with a guy like him, that's a priority for me.
Foundational piece, I think.
Yeah, the guy is. If there was a real Norris Trophy for as we call it, who was the guy from the Ducks? Fulton Reed.
I think
There
so.
was for a real defenseman. Brodin is there with like the likes of Slavin that should be getting that kind of deal. By the way, I just want to spare one quick thought for Formula One. Because it's been announced that Sergio Perez is leaving Racing Point, and it's safe to assume Vettel's going to get that seat. And I saw we were talking about seats. Haas, maybe. I don't. It's either he has to go there or there's nowhere else for him to go. But Formula One. We'll move on now. I just wanted to bring that up.
So random. I thought you were gonna like use this as an analogy for something.
So did I.
What's wrong with my analogies?
No, nothing.
Because we just talked about Jonas Brodin, and then it's like, oh, I just want to talk to you about Formula One.
I think Mike has an issue with your analogies, though.
I have an issue?
Yeah, you made an issue. You said you didn't like his analogies.
Oh yeah, I hate your analogies. No offense.
No offense. I hate the things you do.
No offense, but everything you say makes me want to blow my ears out.
I mean, that just hurts my feelings a bit. I you on the show and you're like, you know what? No. So if we're gonna we actually have a lot when it comes to like contract talk and that. It has apparently been confirmed. Oh no, not apparently. It has been confirmed by Mikael Granlund's agent that they will be testing free agency. He didn't rule out a return to Nashville, but apparently it's been speculated the same will happen with Craig Smith, which is a damn shame.
So sad.
Sorry?
It makes you so sad.
It does. It
Craig
does.
Smith to the Habs?
No.
Not happening. Not happening.
I think he's right-handed, so if you play the wing, I'll take it. Not really.
Yeah.
But this is talking about Mikael Granlund. I kind of ignore his time in Nashville because unless your name is Roman Josi, if you play for the Nashville Predators, you instantly have a down and disappointing. And don't forget, this is a great two-way guy who can play center and wing. And I wonder what kind of team would look for Granlund, because we were joking before the show where Alex and I that Minnesota need a center. I don't think Granlund's going to want to go back there, though.
No.
Mike, I want to throw an idea your way.
Okay.
So my understanding is you're not a big fan of Ryan Strome as second line center, right?
Ryan Strome.
You're not a big fan of Ryan Strome as New York Rangers second line center.
No.
What about Mikael Granlund?
Oh boy. That's a tough one because Granlund used to be a pretty decent. He had a down year, 30 points in 63 games. In 63 games last year with Minnesota, he had 49. Overall, he just had a down year, but he's been a pretty consistent player.
Yeah.
Until really he went to Nashville and his career just died. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you look at it, he's been surrounded by good talent, Mikael Granlund. I don't know what his issue is, why he can't score. Because here, let me check daily face-off.
Well, I think that entire team has had
that entire
scoring.
team just cursed the minute Matt Duchene got there.
I always forget how much Granlund made, and then Cal Turris is also there. Nick Bonino. Well, Nick Bonino did his job.
They've been trying to find that second line center for a few years now.
By hoarding overpriced centers.
Mikael Granlund was playing second line left wing with Bonino and Matt Duchene.
No.
There you go.
God.
I don't know, because, I mean, if you think about it, that would be good for the Rangers.
It's an improvement over Ryan Strome. And Strome's an RFA.
I'm thinking Ryan Strome had a good year because he played on a line with Artemi Panarin. That's just going to happen if you're playing on that line. He's the only one that drove that bloody offense anyways. But
is it the Tyler Bozak effect?
No, I take it. It's just it's a real gamble if you want to throw him in the middle. It is a real gamble to throw him in the middle. It's almost honestly, I would throw Philip Hedl on that second line center along with Chris Kreider and then what's his face? Mikael Granlund or Artemi Panarin, depending for Chris Kreider, depending on what they want to roll with this year.
Right.
Because no offense, I'm not betting on PODGO to get amazing yet.
And let's not forget, you guys have the first overall pick.
Lafreniere is going to – that's why I'm thinking Lafreniere can stay on the third line to start off. That's why you can move Hedl up to the second.
Yeah.
I know everything about hockey. That should be a thing.
All right.
Mike knows everything about hockey. You know what? Guys, let's leave. Let's leave Mike to do the show by himself.
For context, I always text these guys whenever we're talking anything about hockey. I will just throw in there. I'm like, and yeah, guys, just so you know, I know everything about hockey. Don't test my knowledge. I just know everything.
And then the real question here is, what about Craig Smith?
That's an interesting.
What is Craig Smith? That's I think. Let's answer that.
Is he
first.
4.5 million a year worth it? Is he worth it?
He's the type of guy that like somebody gives.
He's 30 now.
4.25, and he's 31, and I've never heard of this guy up until like the last few years.
He's good. He's a fine middle six player, in my opinion.
I mean, there's teams who will pay for that. To be honest, I would not be surprised if they end up re-signing Craig Smith. And I know they're the team that's been looking for scoring. And I know he's not a scorer, but
I was going to say, Alex, I mean, 31 points. Yeah,
I know he's not a scorer, but
chip in there, but
who are you going to replace Craig Smith with on that team?
Alex Galchenyuk.
Austin Watson.
No. We're like,
I'm not gonna lie. You gave me a lot more for Craig Smith than I thought you were gonna give me.
I think he goes to Colorado,
Like,
but
there's
for less money.
okay.
Because I think at his age, he wants to win.
He is not getting 4.2. What is he making? 4.25. He's not getting that on the open market. I'm sorry. Like the market, I think has changed. Like we're talking about, and we'll bring this guy up later. We're talking about goalies you'd think would get big contracts, getting. You don't even. It doesn't even make sense.
Okay, so what do you think he's gonna get?
Less than 4. He's getting like 3 million, 3.5 max.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like he can't. He's not making that what he's making now or more.
But don't forget free agents.
Huh?
Oh
wow, Mike disconnected.
Oh wow.
That sucks.
What? I'm right here.
Oh, you disconnected for a second.
What?
No, you froze. You froze.
Oh, okay.
So what were you saying?
I heard you guys saying that. I was like, what? Like,
What were you saying, Mike?
free agency is where you overpay.
But the market's clearly not the same this year. Everyone's
There's
betting
no
on,
such thing as a market come free agency day, man. It's just throw money everywhere.
not everyone's Jim Benning. Not everyone's Jim
Or
Benning.
Jim Rutherford was. Remember
Or
Matt,
Jim
Matt,
Rutherford.
Matt Hunwick contract?
Brandon Tanev. I'm sorry. Not
Jack
6
Johnson,
years.
how are you?
Wait, what was the Hunwick deal, Daniel?
That was like what, over $3 million?
Was it?
No, or
Yeah.
like it was like basically swapped Ron Hainsey for Matt Hunwick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about Jim Benning later. Don't worry. Man, he's just fun.
Are you cold, Adam?
What?
Are you cold?
It is pretty cool.
I really like wearing. I got my one-piece shirt too.
Oh, what a nice shirt.
And that's my YouTube. And if you want to see that shirt and everything else we're wearing, check out the YouTube portion or the YouTube version of the show. It's great. You can see our beautiful faces. I have not shaved, but I have to for my surgery. You see Mike with his lovely hat. You see Daniel with his lovely hat. Alex, you can see a picture that Alex is still not hung up after about a year and a half. And now Mike's got his lovely hair out. You love to see it. Look at that.
The Matt Hunwick was 3 years, 2.25.
Oh,
And this is
Pretty
this is the last year of it.
Another bit of signing news. We can, or not news, but speculation. Apparently, it looks like Vegas and Lehner are looking at a long-term deal.
Are you looking at the one I sent you, the article I sent you guys?
Who sent it to me first? Alex,
Me.
you did. All right, I have no idea.
Because clearly I know everything about hockey.
I was gonna say, shut up. No, I was just.
Always what happens. I
got that article and I was giving it to all the insiders that rely on my info first.
Yeah.
I know everything about hockey.
Oh,
Screw you, Alex.
okay.
Here's how this normally happens, right? I'll be on Twitter. I will see a piece of news and I'll screenshot it. Right? I'll work on this later. And about 5-10 minutes after I see it, either Mike or Alex or both of them will then send it to me and be like, "Yo," I'm like, "I know."
They're ferociously debating it or agreeing with it.
Clearly, we need a group chat because we send each other the same things.
Yeah, we do. And then, but then, like, Daniel's the best because then he'll like throw a Star Wars meme, and it's like, it's like, yeah, Ray Skywalker sucks. Woo. Yeah. But yeah. So Leonard and Vegas are looking at a deal, a long-term deal, because thank God Leonard can finally get a bit of pay here. And if this is indeed what is reported to be 5 years at $5 million per, we have a first sort of a set market for goalies, because this offseason is rich with goalies. Markstrom and Lehner would be at the top of that list. I think we can agree on, guys. And here's what I want to ask, because I think we can all agree that's a great signing for Vegas. And what does it mean for Mark?
And a great deal.
What did you say, 5.5?
5.45. The $5 million in 5 years.
Yeah, it says 5 by $5 million plus. So
Who is it from?
That's
Jesse Granger.
That is, yeah. Jesse Granger's like their best writer for the Golden Knights, but that's just insane.
Okay,
That seems like a low AAV.
Yeah.
No, it's a low AAV, but it's ridiculous unless you get rid of Marc-Andre, because then you have 13 million tied up in goalies.
Of course, yeah.
No one wants to have over 13 million for their goalies for a tandem.
For multiple years.
Yeah.
For multiple years. Let's be clear, multiple years.
When you still have a couple of free agents to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not sure if you guys have been on Leafs Twitter. Mike probably hasn't, because he's.
No, I'm on Sens Twitter.
He's on hashtag Sens Twitter, like the 10 guys who are a part of that. But they're talking about Marc-Andre Fleury. Pardon?
All the insiders.
It's just the insiders, no fans.
Tweeting to absolutely no one.
Eric Brancham appreciation page.
They were talking about Marc-Andre Fleury to the Leafs. I'm like, screw you.
No.
Screw
This was 10 years ago.
You.
Okay, well, here's what I want to ask you guys. Lehner is a great. I don't think like the story and the talking point isn't Lehner getting. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
You're happy for Lehner. That's like whatever. Okay, I'm like seriously.
Great deal for both sides.
He deserves a long-term deal. He deserves it.
But what I want to ask you guys is, so on the Blackhawks, who were crap in their own end, this year, Robin Lehner, 16, 10, and 5, with a amazing for that team, a .918 save percentage. And then in 13 playoff games for the Golden Knights, 4 shutouts, a .924 save percentage, right? If he can get that type of deal, and he is a year younger than the goalie I'm about to mention, what does that do to a possible deal for Jacob Markstrom?
I think that's the ballpark for Jacob Markstrom.
Sets the market like that.
Yeah.
Is there any way?
But apparently, to know it all, Mike over here, there's no market on.
Unless someone offers Braden Holtby 8.5.
If someone offers Braden,
like the Sabres or something,
So
or
insane.
the Flames.
No, but
I was gonna say the Sabres, but they can be that bad without having money. Imagine being that bad as a hockey team and still having nothing.
All right. Well,
They actually have money next year. Never mind. Okay, they have a lot of money next year.
I hope they spend it on Ville Leno and whatever the hell that guy's name
We're not
is.
talking about the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh my God, they have so many deals. Never mind.
Okay, let's go, Adam. Back to Markstrom. Listen, I think if Lehner signs between 5 years, for 5 years between 5 and 6, I wouldn't be surprised if Markstrom gets the same type of money, unless he hits free agency. Then it's who
Oh my God, then he's gonna get freaking $6 million.
I wouldn't. Yeah, and at that point, if he does touch free agency, take Vancouver out of the equation.
No,
because I don't think they're going to be able to afford it.
Vancouver has $17 million in cap space for this coming season, but they also got to get Toffoli, of course. Toffoli is 28, $4.6 million. What is his ballpark?
Between 6 and 7, probably.
Honestly, I'm thinking 6.
Yeah.
So when you factor in that, Vertan and Mott need new deals. Next year's Pedersen's
should we talk about
last year?
Should we talk about Vancouver now?
I'll talk about Vancouver just because, if we're talking about Markstrom, then we got to talk about that.
I have some great quotes from Jim Benning.
Before we do, though, I do want to ask Daniel one question before we move on. Then, if this does happen, this specific deal for Robin Lehner, we just talked about it. That does mean Marc-Andre Fleury is probably on the way out. And let's be honest. the whole situation with himself and Alan Walsh and the story picture probably didn't help really.
Yeah, that doomed him, I think.
Where would you guys, all of you are free to quickly say a little word here on it. Then where, starting with you, Daniel, could you see a Marc-Andre Fleury landing? And do you think it would be pre or post goalie free agent rush, like a draft deal or something?
I think it depends on what kind of happens to him. Like, I don't know if Vegas could trade that contract fully. They might have to take back money.
Yeah.
Or they just might buy him out. I don't know. Honestly, I could see him going to Colorado. In a way. Yeah, like he's a bit of an older guy, but he's been consistent, you know, even when like he has these off games. Like I think the amount of criticism that's giving to him or like the scrutiny he's under, it's a short leash because you know, you're in it to win the cup. Like, so like if you mess up one game, you're out. So I think that he could fit in Colorado. Like if it's like a really low cap hit, you know, I think it's an upgrade over Philip Grubauer. Fleury has had injury problems before, but I think last few years he's been in Vegas. He's been consistent. Like he's played a lot.
So then, Daniel, my question would be, what goalie goes back in that trade? Because a goalie's going back in that trade. Is it Francouz, who has 2 more years, or Grubauer, who would be a UFA at the end of next season?
I actually don't know. It might. I don't know. It might be Francouz. I know that he has the term, but I think it just in terms of where Vegas is at with their cap, that's what goes the other way.
I would say agree with Francouz because if it's 2 years starting next year is the extension, right?
Yeah.
Fleury has 2 years at $7 million after this, so it would. You know how GMs are kind of weird with that. If I'm going to give up a second for a certain year, then in my return I need to have a fourth because they want to balance to make sure they have a pick, and like I'm sure they would like to line up the sort of term of the deals. So I think, Mike, what about you, Marc-Andre Fleury?
I think it's a really tough situation because I feel bad for Marc-Andre because at the same time he's gone through the last 2 years, or like the last his outro with Pittsburgh wasn't the way it should have gone. Like he was their starter, and then he had one bad game, and then they threw Murray back in for the rest of the playoffs, and now Fleury was reportedly like in the dark all year until randomly he goes on his phone one day and sees that they bring in Robin Lehner and get rid of Subban. And I mean, they keep telling, like, apparently the rumors are that they kept telling Fleury that, this is purely just for goalie depth. You are our starter. And then Lehner proceeded to play 12 games. And then he's their starter for the play-in, or for the playoffs. So I don't know. I feel bad. I really like Marc-Andre Fleury. He's literally one of the most likable players. I think we can all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe not after that picture.
Well, don't forget what Ryan Reeves said about the boycott stuff and how he talked to Fleury in earlier hours, and that was after the sword thing. But yeah,
I just think it's so difficult now because you have 2 really good goalies, and Marc-Andre had a down year. It wasn't a terrible year by any means, I don't think. And now he had a .905 save percentage this year in 49 games played. That's pretty good, I'd like to think, for his age.
And the way he plays too, that butterfly.
And I get it. He has a good defense in front of him, so he's supposed to be a good goalie. And 905, now that I think of it, isn't good, isn't great.
It's okay.
It's like more from a starter. But at the same time, like, Marc-Andre now it's an unceremonious end, I think. I think he's done, don't get me wrong. I think he is done with the Golden Knights, both from his side and their side. So it's just a matter of when they ship him out. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know who you're going to bring in for that because it's so difficult to move an albatross of a contract like that because he's making $7 million a year as a 35-year-old with a modified no-trade clause.
Is it a 35-plus contract?
Nope, it's a modified no-trade clause.
So there's no 35-plus on it?
No, because he signed this before he was 35.
Okay.
He's just turned 35.
Okay.
So that's why it's a tough contract to move.
Yeah.
$7 million is not an easy contract to move. And that's why I wonder what team needs that kind of goaltending depth.
I have a couple.
It's really tough because, not only that, but if you're going to trade Marc-Andre Fleury, you need to get a goalie back for the most part. I'd like to think.
Do you, though?
Well,
Because
I know.
I think there's a very deep.
What do you do as a team if you have millions in goalies and then you bring in a $7 million goalie? To put into perspective, like the Leafs, I wouldn't bring in Marc-Andre Fleury, but just as a biased example, I'm going to use him. How the hell are you going to bring in Marc-Andre Fleury when you already have Freddie making however many sheets he's making?
There's no way that contract is traded, and
no,
there's salary. There has to be salary retention.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even a question.
Unless you want to get him to unless you want to move him to a team that has like a fledgling goalie that isn't good, like Montreal or something.
I'm not even going to acknowledge it.
But
like the guys on Steve Dangle podcast just called it the best tandem in the league, so I'll allow them to speak for themselves on that deal.
Chris Kreider's licking his chops.
All right. Okay.
But how about what about a team like Edmonton and Calgary, who are both have no? I'd argue, like, I don't know what their goaltending situation is, because they couldn't even, like, Riddick wasn't even starting in the playoffs, and Mikko Koskinen is your starter.
Yeah, but it's also tough because those teams have money to move or don't have money to. Well, I don't know about. I'm looking at Edmonton right now. Edmonton is $11 million this year. They gotta pay. Mike Smith's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's feasible if you do that.
With retained salary.
Because you have Mike Green retiring. That's 2.6 off the books. You got to re-sign Matt Bennett. You got to re-sign Ethan Bear.
Yeah.
And then you got to re-sign. Then it's a bunch of other fringe players like Riley Shan, Tyler Ennis, Andreas Athanasiou. But as a team, you have no offense already. So it's not like you can go away without. So yeah, if you're gonna do that, then you have to bite the bullet on like then Vegas has to bite the bullet on some of that salary. But at the same time, though, like, what do the Oilers have that they can give up for that? Because you got to give a sweetener if you're gonna do that. Because if you're trading for him, what are you gonna trade to get Marc-Andre from the Oilers?
You mean from Vegas?
Sorry, from the Vegas. What are the Oilers gonna trade to get Marc-Andre?
I don't know.
They have a goalie spot if they don't sign Mike Smith again, which is honestly I think is going to happen. But then you have 4.5 in Mikko Koskinen. Do you, as the Edmonton, I have no doubt in my mind that the Edmonton Oilers would be more than competent and happy to spend $11.5 million on goalies because Chiarelli woke up one day and said, "Let's give Koskinen 4.5." But
yeah, like they have to. Edmonton has to get a goalie. It's not a question. Like,
yeah, of course.
I don't think Koskinen's enough.
No, I know Koskinen is not enough, but it's just what do you do to get there? The same thing goes with Calgary. I mean, Big Save Dave apparently isn't Big Save Dave. Cam Talbot is, well, he's Cam Talbot. The only difference is that they have $16 million in cap space, but you got to sign guys like Mangiapane and you're literally your entire defense. Like literally your entire defense that isn't named Mark Giordano or Noah Hannafin or Rasmus Anderson because you just signed them.
Right.
Like it's really difficult for both of those teams, and I don't see Marc-Andre being able to go there because first off, you have so many players to sign, and what are you going to give up?
Hey,
I can see Calgary being able to get Marc-Andre more than I can see Edmonton strictly on a trade perspective of what kind of assets you can give up. Because outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, because those are untouchable.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you going to give up? That's like worth it. Adam Larson, you need him on D.
That's true.
All right. One thing for sure, though, if Lehner is re-signing in Vegas, it is going to just make this goaltending market even more interesting than already.
I'm very, very interested because Robin Lehner seems to really like it there. And honestly, like I said, these guys are people too. That he wants to put down roots. It's just unfortunate that he's been bouncing on back-to-back one-year deals every year. For a player that was... Did he win the Vezina? I'm pretty sure he won that Vezina.
No, he was a finalist.
Jennings.
What?
I believe he won the Jennings, did he not?
He
Last
won
year.
Jennings in the Masterton.
Yeah, he won the Jennings with
Price.
New York.
Yeah.
Why the hell don't you bring him back? It's weird that two teams just randomly just gave up on him to the point now where this team doesn't want to give up on him, but they're in such a tough situation. That's why it's just such a messy situation.
Yeah.
And then when you have a friggin' agent like Alan Walsh, it doesn't make life easier.
No, he doesn't.
All right, well, Alex Benning, Mr. Free Agency, I think we can call him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some major quotes here.
Mm-hmm. And this is all about their cap situation, right?
This was all from yesterday
Okay.
on different things.
I asked you, like, we were talking about this, and I was like, you know what? You almost told me. I said, no. We got to wait for the show because I bet this is juicy.
So let's start with this one. Benning said he spoke to Markstrom's agent yesterday. We'll continue to talk this week. Want to get a deal done that makes sense for both sides. I believe they still aren't very close, but it's negotiation season.
Okay. So.
Jeez. It just seems messy, but.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a quote from Jim Benning about Jake Virtanen. I thought he worked and competed hard in the playoffs. He scored that big goal for us in Game 6. To be perfectly honest with you, I was expecting more from Jake in the playoffs. And then there's another quote. Benning says that he might have to move on from some players, even younger players, and maybe try to recover some draft picks.
So
Vancouver is such an interesting team.
And he's not moving first and second round picks to move out money.
So you just said moving young guys and recuperating picks. Sorry.
He said Benning says that he might have to move on from some players, even younger players, and maybe try to recover some draft picks.
AKA the first they traded for JT Miller.
That's 20th now, I think, in the draft.
And move on from young players. And remind me this, guys. Who was the young player that was rumored to be getting moved from Vancouver a few weeks ago?
Brock
Besser.
Yeah, apparently that was fake news. Apparently that was what Donald Trump calls fake news.
It was fake news.
I don't know, man. Like, look, Vancouver's in such a unique situation where the incompetence by this owner or this general manager has led to them doing the complete opposite of the Leafs. Instead of, hey, let's tie so much money into our top 6. No, let's tie so much money into our bottom 6. Mm-hmm. You're paying Louis Eriksson $6 million, you scumbags. You deserve it. But at the same time, what the hell are you going to move? Like, you have JB. So let me put it into perspective. You have $12 million across Eriksson, Roussel, and Jay Beagle. You have to re-sign Jake Virtanen. Tyler Mott, I don't think is coming back.
Really? How much?
He's making $975.
And how much do you think he's gonna? What type of raise is Tyler Mott getting?
So capped, I think this team is that they can't even afford to give this guy one.
I just want to ask each of you, because you brought up 3 names: Roussel, Beagle, and Eriksson, which are the notorious garbage deals here. Okay, I'm going to ask each of you a question regarding a player here.
Okay. Tanner Pearson, 3.75.
Okay, I'll fine.
Keep going. I want to hear you.
Okay, Alex, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
In 10 playoff games, how many points did Louis Eriksson have?
0.
Okay. You're correct.
Yeah.
Daniel, in 17 playoff games, how many points did Jay Beagle have?
2?
He had 2.
Oh.
Now, Mike, In 17 playoff games, how many points did Antoine Roussel have?
How many playoff games? 17?
Yes.
4.
He had 4.
Oh, God. I told you I know everything about hockey.
So between those 3 players, how much money is it again?
12 million?
$12 million for 6 points.
God damn it.
I mean, I get it. Antoine Roussel was a thorn in players' sides and was so annoying out there.
Oh my God. You remember how they kept cutting to him trying to mess with Robin Lehner? And Lehner had a bunch of shutouts in this series. And it was like, oh, it's Roussel trying to get into their heads. And Lehner just didn't care.
Or how he was trying to challenge Ryan Reeves. Like, you don't.
Hugged him and got a major.
I don't understand how he got a major for that. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And I hate player safety. And that was by far the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
$10 million for 4 points and a game misconduct. What are you doing?
I don't know. Mike brought up Tanner Pearson before at 3.75. I really do think there's a market for Tanner Pearson.
I think so too.
After the year he had. I don't know if you agree, but
I agree. They could get something for him.
Yeah, Tanner Pearson. Yeah.
even if you get a pick.
The fact that they got a valuable piece in Tanner Pearson for Erica Branson, is bravo.
Tanner Pearson, 27 points, 69 games. I mean, Brendan Leipzig seemed to like him.
Wait, say that again, Mike?
No.
Brendan
Leipzig.
No, not Brendan Leipzig.
His stat line again.
Who's that? No, he's been retconned.
Banished to Russia.
Yeah, Mike, I think you said Tanner Pearson had 27 points. I think you mean penalty minutes. He had 45 points.
Sorry, yes. I'm.
Oh my God.
Clearly, I'm
Mike,
not.
that changes everything.
He had 45 points in 69.
I can't believe you didn't know that off the top of your head. I thought you knew everything. This is very.
He's just testing us. It's to see if we're paying attention.
Exactly. I want to see if you were paying attention.
Okay, fine. We'll play that game. But I think that's a guy who's tradable.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Vancouver this year has $17 million.
Okay. Yeah, in cap space.
You have to sign. Tyler Toffoli is your priority. He's $6 million.
I'm pretty sure Jacob Markstrom is your priority.
Yeah, that too.
I don't.
No, I think honestly, man, I think they're done with him.
You think so? You think
they're gonna ride with
two or 3 games from Thatcher Demko change their opinion?
That's literally how incompetent I think Vancouver's management is. And don't tell me you'd be surprised by that, because you can't.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because back in April, the feeling was that they didn't even trust Thatcher Demko. Like, it was automatic. They were bringing Jacob Markstrom back. That's what it felt like.
But then looking ahead, you got to be careful because you can't give too much money away.
Absolutely.
Because the next year this coming year you can give Pettersson his raise. You can give it to him. You can extend him early.
If you're Jim Benning and day one of free agency comes, if you are not on the phone with both Pettersson and Hughes agents, you have failed at your job.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that Quinn Hughes guy. I guess he's kind of good.
You mean Calder winner? Future Calder winner? Quinn Hughes?
Yeah, he's decent.
Decent guy.
No, the biggest free agent they have, man, Oscar Fantenberg. You got to bring that guy back.
Is it the HWA that votes on the Calder?
The what?
Yes.
Yeah, the pro hockey writers.
Okay, all right.
They don't know everything, by the way. They think they do, but they're not me. I should be there.
When you're there,
Mike's the only person allowed to vote.
Yeah.
They come to me to ask me for my vote, and whatever I say is what they vote. My vote is with Quinelli.
Are there by the way, are there any more Benning quotes?
I don't have any more.
Funny ones? Oh my god, just look at the internet. You can find them all over the place.
Unfortunately, I don't have any more.
Jim Benning funny quotes.
Jimothy Benning.
Let me ask you, by the way.
The best quotes so far from Jim Benning's tenure. Oh God, these are all embedded tweets. I don't want to read that. I don't. No, I do not. Oh, these are all old too.
What about, by the way, because this guy's only had one real season of professional hockey, aka pro level in the AHL. And Daniel, why don't you introduce him, the possible backup goalie, or is this guy even ready? And World Junior star.
You know, for that alone, I love the guy. He's not ready.
Who?
Mikey DiPietro.
Oh, Michael DiPietro.
Oh,
I just thought I'd lay that up for you.
I don't know.
Mem Cup winner.
People kind of got from that too. They got too hyped up for him, but he's that guy that don't throw him into the fire so early.
they already did it once.
I know,
Let's
and
not
it was
murder the guy
bad.
again.
Yeah.
That was emergency, though. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the team looked like garbage in front of him.
Yeah, his goals against average in his 2 games is like 7.0. Bad.
Listen,
I think he could be good. It's take the Thatcher Demko approach for that guy. Like, just keep him in the minors.
Yeah,
as
you're
long as you
not.
can.
If you let Markstrom walk, it's not like Mikey DiPietro is your next guy up. Like, I mean, I don't trust Louis Domingue. Louis Domingue's an option, I guess, but you most definitely can go check out this goalie market, which is rich with 1B type guys.
I see like Anton Khudobin going to.
Well, he's going to command a lot of money,
Yeah.
especially after the run Dallas have had. That guy's going to make a lot of money. Poor Ben Bishop.
Well, is he? I'm confused. Is Ben Bishop unfit to play, or is because Ben Bishop wasn't even on the bench?
I know Jake.
He was
Ottinger,
Jake Ottinger.
He's injured. That's it.
He's injured,
Because
right?
he was dealing with an injury throughout the playoffs.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, like he was unfit to play, like even coming back, and it was because of an injury. And then apparently he reneged that injury when he came back again. So
Okay.
But
Makes
like
sense.
even if like you don't trust him right now, I think he's going to be like if he is able to play, you still put him on the bench ahead of Ottinger.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he must be injured.
Like look what happened to Boston and Vlader. Vlader, like poor guy.
God.
First good chance against him in his career, breaking point breakaway, undresses the poor kid. Like what are you going to do about that?
I like Jake Ottinger, man.
Sure.
I like him
seems
because
like
I
it's
like
disgusting.
college hockey, and he was a good college hockey player.
And you'd love to see goalies in the first round.
Is he a nice guy?
How are you?
Is he a
He's
nice guy?
Would I get a beer with him? Definitely.
Oh, okay. That's what classifies a good hockey player.
If you get a beer with him,
If he's good
If he
on
went-
the ice and you'd get a beer with him.
dude, he went to BU. I like BU.
Oh, so Brian Burke loves the guy.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
Ryan
go.
Whitney loves that guy.
Is he? No. Was it Boston? Is it Boston College that Burke? He's a big guy of? I think it is. I think
I don't
he's
know
all.
if it's BC or BU. All I know is that Ryan Whitney likes Jake Ottinger because Ryan Whitney went to BU.
All right. Okay. Before we talk into each specific series here, actually no, we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. Let's start with the Eastern game. We've had one game between the Islanders and Tampa Bay,
Smacking.
and it was like the
Oh, the Islanders defense.
what
So good.
Hold on. So what Colorado did to the Coyotes was like the Coyotes shouldn't be here. There's leaving your goaltender out to dry, and then there's just leaving him in the middle of the Sahara Desert without a single drop of water. That's what the Coyotes did to poor Darcy Kemper. But when you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you are known as this defensive juggernaut as the Islanders, I don't know how you can make any excuses as to losing 8-2.
I can give you some excuses.
Okay.
I don't agree with them. They're just excuses.
Okay. Let's talk about travel, because now, of course, the Toronto bubble has been abandoned. The conference finals and the cup finals are now in Edmonton. So
The cup can never be in Toronto.
Sorry?
Because the cup can never be in Toronto.
It's always. Have you been to the Hockey Hall of Fame? It's always in Toronto.
Fake
What's
cup.
that joke that Eberle is in the conference finals in Edmonton, but for the
I didn't think of that. That's funny.
Uh,
I love that.
Ryan Strome, lovely guy.
But yeah, so the excuse was made, and I think Chris Johnson was on Hockey Central talking about it. That
Justin Bourne was big on this one, of course.
so it was because he's an Islanders fan, but he's normally pretty straight with this. Is Tampa Bay got to the bubble 19 days before the Islanders, and the difference was
Hours.
19 hours. That's what I said.
You said days.
Days.
He said days.
I meant
19 hours.
hours. We got there before the Islanders.
That's okay, yeah.
They have been resting. They finished their series in 5, and the Islanders had to go 7 against Philly because they just couldn't close out the
Yeah.
I couldn't close the deal.
So let's just get this out the way.
How about beat the Flyers? I don't know, like in less than 7. You were up 3-1. I don't understand travel, fine. I'll give them the travel thing, but Tampa traveled 19 hours before, and I get the jet lag thing. I fully understand the jet lag thing. But before we even got into the bubble, and as soon as we entered the bubble, the biggest thing that the guys in the East were talking about is that the players in the East are going to have an advantage because when they move to the bubble, the Edmonton bubble, they're going to be in a new bubble, while the guys in Edmonton were going to have to stay in their bubble for 3 or 4 months straight. So are we walking ourselves back here, or what's the case?
I don't know, man. Again, this is game 1.
Absolutely. But we're just going over the excuses that were being thrown out. Listen. I fully agree that travel is one reason, a very minute reason that they lost. But to lose 8-2 and to tell me that travel is the reason you lost 8-2 is blatantly incorrect.
Wait. So by the way, did the Islanders themselves actually say anything, or was this just the media, by the way? Because it's just I don't think Barry Trotz is going to come out and say.
No, it was the media.
Barry Trotz is on.
It was the media and their lovely fans.
Okay.
The Eggman is not an excuse maker. He's a doer.
The Eggman.
I love Barry Trotz.
That's a new one.
You got the Eggman. That's the funniest video by Tree. I didn't make up the name. I'm not trying to poke fun at Barry Trotz.
Sounds like you are.
I didn't make up the name. It's just such a tough name. After I watched you and these three.
Eggman from Sonic, and he's like an evil genius. Come on, being the Eggman's cool. Who doesn't love Sonic? Mr. Eggman had the robot.
Is Braden Point Sonic in this situation?
Oh, is he? He's fat.
Ooh, baby.
That guy's definitely my favorite TBL player. He's so good. He's so good.
We just gotta mention something before we move forward about Braden Point.
Just say it.
Say it, Daniel.
Real Junior captain Braden Point.
What year was that?
That was 2014 when they finished 6th. But
so it sounds like he's not a good leader. Therefore, he should not be paid $6 million. Right? Because he's not a good leader, and that means he shouldn't be paid that type of money.
I remember that year was called the team of captains. Every OHL captain was on the Real Junior team.
Wow.
No, what? Now that you said that, I'm going to search up that team. 2014, you said, sir?
Wait, Mike, why don't you already know that?
Because I know everything about the NHL. I didn't.
That's
when we're not good, I don't care about them. I remember that year. Oh yeah,
so that must mean you don't know much about the Leafs because they're rarely good.
No, man, the captain of that 2014 team was terrible.
I'm looking at Braden Point's thingies. He played in 2015 and 2016. So unfortunately, Daniel cannot.
Daniel cut out.
He's just been stuck like that for.
Oh.
I'm gonna screenshot where it's.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Like, what do you mean Stamkos isn't going to play in the conference finals? Man, is it me? So Braden Point, we're going to talk about maybe our Conn Smythe guys for each team in a minute here. But, I mean, the guy, not only does he have just the wicked points, 23 points in 14 games, he got the game winner in that wicked long, 5 overtime game against Columbus. He got the goal in Game 5 that eliminated them. he undressed Vlader with that wicked goal. He's become, and correct me if I'm wrong here, like, let's have this debate while we're waiting for Daniel. Has he just sort of been like, hey, Steven Stamkos, move over?
Yeah.
He's almost made the fact that they're missing Steven Stamkos.
Unfortunately, yes.
No one is watching this and thinking, man, what if Tampa had Stamkos right now? Which is insane to think. That's how good Brayton Point is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thought that comes across my mind because I think this team would be even deadlier than it already
Daniel
is.
was wrong. It was 2016. You were right. We were terrible that year.
Oh. Well, when he comes back, you will.
No. I'm telling you right now. We were terrible.
No. When he comes back, you got to tell him.
We had Matthew Barzal, Mitch Marner, Dylan Strome,
And they still lost.
Lawson Krause, Travis Konechny, Julian Gauthier.
Oh.
Who's in net?
Mackenzie Blackwood.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Montembeau, Mason McDonald, Thomas Chabot, Travis Dermott, the better Hayden Fleury.
Oh, so that must have been – oh, yeah. Then, so was that the year – you said Chabot? So that's the year before they lost to the States in the finals then, because Chabot played then too. And he 50 minutes when they lost. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Was that the year Finland won?
Yeah, that was in Helsinki.
Ah, yes. Daniel's coming on soon. Do we want to wait for him or?
Just quickly, Julien Brisebois looks like an absolute genius.
For what? For the his depth?
For the contract.
Oh, for Braden. Oh, yeah.
He looks like an absolute genius, and it's not even a question.
What is it? 3 years at 6.2? I'll get cap friendly up right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm already on Cap Friendly, so because I need to know everything about hockey.
Daniel just sent a message. Daniel sent a message. Also, my mistake. It was 2016 World Juniors with Point as captain.
Please tell Mike.
So, what were you saying about Point?
It's 3 years, 6.25.
Yeah. 7.5.
Oh, 6.75. I apologize.
Come on.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Did he put his number in there? Just I don't know.
Oh my God. What's not?
My bad. I forgot. We don't have a petty father.
He looks like Kane, like Evander. It's such a nasty deal. Okay, I really need to go to the washroom.
Okay, so we'll just pause it.
Yeah, let's just pause it.
No.
It's all right, Daniel. You don't have to correct yourself. Daniel made it. Sorry, Alex. Mike made it very clear that you were wrong about the World Junior.
I know. It was 2016. My apologies. It was after they won. So there's expectations. I know.
All right.
Still affecting my World Junior love. See.
World Juniors, I guess. Whatever. Like we'll just move. Sorry. I meant to say the island. Like, if we talked about this series, we'll check. I won't be. You guys will check back on it later. They play game 2 tonight.
Last if it's all good, you just do a thumbs up on the video.
Just come in like swelling ice background in my head. Oh, good job, man. You love to see it. Other series, the Western Conference Finals. Dallas were up 1-0, but they lost last night. Another shutout for Robin Lehner, which was great after Fleury got the starting game. It wasn't his fault they lost.
Well, they lost, so.
Spare me a penny for your thought on this series. Dallas are boring. Luckily, Vegas gave us a bit of excitement last night. And I guess we'll start with Mike because I don't know what – you're like zoomed in very close to the camera here. So I'll call you out. What do you think of this series?
Dallas?
Yeah.
I think they suck.
You think they
No. My money to win the cup is on Vegas, so.
And do you mean that literally? Because I know you are a bettor.
I was about to say. Wait, do I have anything in my Bet365 account? I gotta look now. I do. Betting on the game tonight. Or tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, tonight.
Yeah. No, I mean Vegas.
Oh, tomorrow. Sorry.
Outright winner to win the series. I love them too much. They're so good. They're the team of destiny.
I can't wait to see people complain about Vegas winning because it's like, oh, the NHL gave them a good team.
What a dumb comment.
Win a cup in their third year and just make everyone else look terrible.
I saw someone talk about how they didn't the fans haven't suffered. I'm like, are you dumb? Suffering's literally the worst part.
No.
Yeah.
The worst part.
Like, what do you want? An Atlanta Thrasher situation where like it's all suffering?
Devil's advocate here. Let's be honest. When the Leafs win the cup, you three are going to be elated because of the pain that you have endured.
But you're gonna be elated either way. If the Knights won in their first year, you're telling me that their fans wouldn't be happy?
No, I'm not saying that, but
so they're gonna be happy either way. Why go through the pain if you can have happiness?
Because if you just I'm sure if you're someone who in the heyday of the Blackhawks just kind of tuned in and like, hey, 3 cups. When if you have your entire life and your team just, if you're a Cubs fan, are you telling me that win meant nearly as much as like a Red Sox win? No.
I get that, but I don't think that should be a negative towards Vegas. Absolutely.
If the Leafs win, years.
If the Leafs win next year, I'll be on the floor crying, and it'll be I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to get my hopes up again.
The only time ever been a loss for words was that split second. I don't want to think. Like that was the most genuine I've ever seen Alex in the time I have known.
He saw the vision.
But I don't think it's be like, Vegas shouldn't win the cup because their fans haven't suffered. I don't see that as an argument. I think it's
a very dumb argument.
I don't think it makes any sense at all. Like, how are you supposed to build fans by sucking? No, that does not how it works. I think the Leafs are there's certain teams in the NHL who have sucked, and there's even a smaller amount of teams whose fan bases have grown as they sucked, and the Leafs are the exception.
I think what is the Sabres as well, right? They maintain a steady fan base.
Well, because there's nothing to do in Buffalo.
What about the outlet malls?
Like, Chicago won those cups and built a bigger fan base. Before Chicago won those cups, what were the Chicago Blackhawks?
Apparently, Patrick Sharp used to say that he had to be outside the arena before the game to give out tickets.
What?
Apparently, like before 2009.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
like, I don't see how that's what your plan is there, and saying, hey, you know what? You guys have to lose for 10 years and then you're allowed to win the cup because that's just enough time. Like, I understand it makes the win feel 10 times better. Like when the Leafs finally win the cup, if they win the cup.
When they win the cup, Alex.
If I'm alive.
When?
If they win the cup if I'm alive. It's going to feel 10 times better. But I don't know. I just think it's silly.
How much do Habs fans still celebrate the 93 win?
I kind of want to know that, actually.
You see, you always have those fans that are like when I hear someone make the toilet bowl joke or like the 93 joke or even the 67 jokes for the Leafs, I'm like, okay.
Do you know how long ago that
I'm
is?
invested now. Bets placed for tonight. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
I think if you're I don't see many of them do it, but then if they if I ever see a really petty argument between the Leafs and the Habs fan, then 67 and 93 get thrown in. But I don't use it because it's fantastic. Let me brag about something that happened 6 years before I was born.
Yeah, I think it's a really silly argument.
Yeah.
In 93, it's 26 years ago or 27 years ago versus 53 years ago. They're both long periods of time where no one has won. So
it was again before our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Shut up. I mean, it's not Vegas's fault that the Ducks and the Ducks, Minnesota and Florida gave them
players. Yeah.
Sorry, they have idiot GMs.
Had idiot GMs.
Had, yeah.
I mean, the Ducks. I don't know. Bob Murray's been okay. He drafts well.
And then trades them.
He can draft defensemen very well.
It's like, sweet, defenseman, flip a coin, flip them for
Jake Gardner, Sammy Vatanen,
Indeed.
Theodore.
Yeah,
he lost Justin Schultz because the guy signed there.
Yeah, but if you listen to Pittsburgh, Justin Schultz is disappointing.
That's okay. He might go back to Anaheim because clearly he's garbage, according to
I remember when they got Wayne Gretzky to convince him to go to Edmonton. I remember that.
Okay, lads. Well,
we've had that discussion before.
We will do now. Okay, I'm going to ask you all for a Conn Smythe winner for if this team were to win the cup. First of all, I want to ask each of you. We'll start with you, Michael. Is it just Mike or is it Michael?
It's Michael, but everyone just calls me Mike.
All right, Michael. Fantastic.
Cool.
Okay, Mike, if Tampa wins the cup right now, who is your Conn Smythe winner?
Well, at Braden Point, like there's just been, I think I don't know how many games he's not had a point.
It's his name's Point.
Why would you explain it?
The way you said that was the funniest thing.
Because his name's Point. Okie dokie.
God, I hate you. But no, Braden Point he's just been such a stud for a team that, like you have Kucherov, and you have like that roster overall is just pieced together. Like even like Victor Hedman has had a great playoffs. Luke Shen, like
boy,
no, but I mean honestly, like if you're going between like the top players like Palat, Kucherov, even Sorelli, Victor Hedman, I'm still giving it to Braden Point all day. He's led them offensively. He's led them like just as a player, just the way he is as a two-way center. He can play both ends of the ice. Just seeing how his effort is to just stick lift and strip players of the puck it's innate. Like he is just such a magical player on both ends of the ice.
Okay, Alex,
I'm gonna go with Braden Point as well. Pretty much what Mike said. I want to repeat it.
And Daniel.
I'm gonna go with Luke Shen. I think that what he provides for that shutdown role, for the minutes he gets on that right side. I think
miss him.
They don't win without him.
The Leafs miss him.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I am actually gonna. Okay, are you? Who you got?
Who is Daniel's real one? I took my head.
It's Braden Point. Like I think like it's this one's unanimous. What he's been able to do, and same thing. Like they keep talking about, this guy went 79th in the draft. They talk about his size, and apparently a lot of scouts before felt that he couldn't be an elite player in the league, and the fact that he keeps proving them wrong he keeps getting a lot better. Like he could have stayed at that 65 point range, but he wants the 90s. He keeps getting better.
What was that thing he couldn't do well at the draft combine?
Probably like pull-ups because none of them can do them.
The
It's
floor.
like McDavid can do like two.
It was something with what is it with his knee or something? No,
I don't know. It was something that seems extremely irrelevant. Let's talk about how all the teams passed him at least twice.
the Leafs took like Rinat Valiev before him in that third round. I remember.
Who did the Habs?
What year was that? 2014?
Yeah.
So that would have still been Dave Notice.
Also, Daniel, you can't say it's unanimous that we'd pick Braden Point because you have no idea what absolute garbage hot take Adam is going to come out with in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Adam's going to be like, give it to Zach Bogosian.
No, I'm going to go with Victor Hedman.
Okay, it's not unanimous then.
You know what? I can give you that. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's really just like, again, I don't care about McDonough, but like he's good. But I mean, without Victor Hedman, this team is not. He is the engine. He's the heartbeat. I know Stamkos wears a C, but I really think it's Hedman's team. And without him, everyone talks about the top 5 players in the team, and you don't count goalies because. But it feels like when we talk about those players, you can bring up McKinnon, you can bring up Crosby and all this. But, like, I put Hedman there because I think he's a step above a lot of defensemen in this. Like, all of them. I think he is the best in this.
He called series against Boston.
He's freaking great. I love him. Okay, so we'll go back to Mike. And if you could give me, if the Islanders win, who is your MVP?
Honestly, dude, that's a tough one. Because, like, the way, A, they're not going to win. Screw the Islanders. And B, overall, just as a team, they all, like, collectively as a unit play. Like, I don't see this, like, you have players like Anders Lee, Brock Nelson. Josh Bailey has looked really good. Jordan Eberle. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, he's playing a lesser role. I feel like he could play in a higher role for sure. But, dude, it's really tough. Like, they have a solid decor in Taves, Pollock, and Andy Green, who's actually scored
Mayfield
2 assists. But then you have Grice is taking over for Varlamov, so it's really tough with this one, man. Like this team is really, really difficult. I'm honestly thinking if you gotta give it to anybody, you just gotta give it to either their captain or Josh Bailey. Or probably I'd give it to the captain. I'd probably give it to Anders Lee because if you watch him out there, he isn't his foot speed isn't the greatest for an NHLer, but in 17 games he's 9 points, 7 goals, 2 assists, and overall he plays his heart out there, and he's not like one of those bona fide stars that you'd expect to be a captain, but he's still out there performing, and honestly, like he hasn't even scored the most in this playoffs. In this playoffs, the highest scorer has been Brock Nelson.
I thought it was Josh Bailey. He's a point per game.
Oh, wait, you're right. Brock Nelson has 2 points less. No, yeah, you're right. Brock Nelson has. I misread that. I thought he had 6. I thought he had 17 as well. But yeah, Josh Bailey. So I don't know. I feel like they're not gonna give it to Josh Bailey and Brock Nelson if this team wins because they're just not as big names as Anders Lee, and Anders Lee isn't even a big name to start with as a captain. So honestly, and you know how they pick. They're just gonna pick who they want to pick.
If that's the case, then
Sorry.
If that's the case, why wouldn't they go for Matt Barzal? Like I know he hasn't put up the most points, but he's the biggest name on that team, and he has been productive.
That is true. I completely forgot that dude plays on this team, but
he is literally the biggest name on that team.
But Matt Barzal, it's a really tough one. I don't know if you're going to take it away from Matt Barzal, who has 1 year left on his rookie deal, or if you're going to give it to one of the proven – and don't get me wrong, Matthew Barzal, he may not be scoring at a point per game clip, but he still has 14 points, and he still is yucky. So, honestly, man, like I don't know. Like if I'm going to give you an answer, it's either Josh Bailey or – I guess either Barzal or Anders. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a really tough one, this one. Because, like I said, collective unit, this team. They don't have anyone securing the bag on their own.
Yeah.
Fucking Derek Brassard.
Exactly. Who wants that team? Okay, Alex, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Matt Barzal. I mean, like, I find he doesn't have the most points, but I really think he is.
I took a puck to the face in warm-up.
He is that team. Like, he's the biggest name on that team, and I think Mike's right in how they vote. Like, they're going to vote for whoever they want, but I think they're going to look at who the biggest name on that team is. Like, you look at how they voted a few years back when Pittsburgh, and I don't remember if it was their first or second cup, it was clear that Phil Kessel should have won the Conn Smythe, but they
first
gave
cup.
it to
I remember
first cup.
Cup.
They ended up giving it to Crosby, even though I mean I'd argue Kessel deserved it more. I think Barzal ends up getting it. Pardon?
Playing as a third liner,
But the HBK line, we all loved it.
Sure. I mean, I wasn't rooting for Pittsburgh, but so you're going with Matt Barzal.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel, give me your guy.
I'm going to go to Brock Nelson. I think I've talked about him before where I agree with Mike. You know, he's a collective unit type of guy where he really plays that Barry Trotz system very well. He's a essential power forward, I think, for this team. He puts up the points. He's been so consistent, and I think without him, he doesn't really balance a lot of that lineup where not that he has a lot of a bite to it, but he knows how to, like, use his size and get to, like, you know, get on the scoring sheet.
Good stuff.
I'm also going to go with Matthew Barzal. And that's simply because, like, the way I really look at the Conn Smythe is, and how it should be awarded is I want you to imagine what this team would do if this player was all of a sudden gone in these playoffs. And I think like if you don't have Barzell, I mean, what separates the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Islanders is the elite talent. And I don't believe that Dubois is anywhere near the talent level of Matthew Barzell. Barzell, I don't know how to say it. I think it's Barzell, sure. Good BC boy. And does he have the points that a guy like Bailey has? No. But again, he's just like the talent the guy has for me is just, I don't think the Islanders are here without the dude. And like I was thinking, like, what do you even look at their goalies? But it's just they're so, there's a reason they don't really miss Robin Lehner. It's because it doesn't matter if it's him, it's Greif, it's Varlamov. Whoever you put into that system as a goalie, because of the system Trotz plays, it doesn't matter who it is. They're going to not have a lot of shots against. They're not going to have a lot of goals against. And again, look at Grice. He's taken over because like Varlamov's had a bit of a slip up, right? So. Like I agree with you, Mike. Just looking at everyone, I was like, man, this is tough. But at the end of the day, the decision for me was Barzal.
We all didn't pick Andy Green.
I jokingly wrote down Andy Green, but I'm like, no, I can't.
And the block shots, though, remember that?
Stop. I mean, he's been good. He can't. He helps.
Taking Ross Johnston.
Oh my God.
Uncle Leo. Bring him the big boy Conn Smythe.
So
Matt Martin.
Leap's great.
Mike, Vegas MVP. Let's go.
Hey, Theodore, all day.
Yeah.
Theo, all day. Don't even have to explain why. Shea Theo has been so gross.
For me, it was really a toss-up between Shea Theodore and Robin Lehner. But I do have to give it to Shea Theodore. I think that guy has been absolutely outstanding this playoffs. I believe has the most points on that team.
He does.
Yeah, he's looked like a stud.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, do I even have to ask Daniel?
I'll be serious about this one. It's Mark Stone for me, actually.
Ooh,
the amount of points, like he's been very consistent. I think what I've said about Brock Nelson, you could say for Mark Stone, but like times 10. He gives that, that great power forward position player you want. His two-way game, like the amount of gifts we've seen, like it's so simple for him to just take away the puck from players.
Do you want a good sleeper pick, Adam?
Sure. So if you say what I think you're about to say. Hello? Oh, you're saying.
Oh, he's still there.
Nicholas Waugh.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, yes.
Definitely not who I thought he was going to say.
I'm like, yeah, I haven't noticed him, but.
No. You know what? One of the friends are spitting chicklets. Revo, big Ryan Reeves. Free my guy, Ryan Reeves. Oh, wait, he freed up now. Okay.
Yeah.
My guy.
My guy is Shea Theodore. Again, without Shea Theodore somehow breaking the dam that was Thatcher Demko, the Canucks were one bounce away from winning. He was the only guy. And, man, I didn't realize how good his season was. He got like 40 points, whatever. And what we forgot about Vegas, by the way, they were really bad for most of this season. Remember Fleury?
Just to start. Before they fired Gallant.
Yeah, Fleury
I still think was unjust.
Yeah, well, Fleury got 2 coaches fired this year. We need to remember that. That stretch got Gallant fired and to save to get Babcock fired. But yeah, like Theodore.
Nick Patan of all guys.
Theodore's just gotten those big goals when they need them. And yeah, I really like. You guys said it all. Like you don't really need to say that he is. I used to think man, I think I said this last episode actually. Like I look at Vegas, like where is the superstar? Like Theodore's not a superstar, but he's a star defenseman, and now I understand. And I understand why. And we may be talking about another defenseman who's probably going to be looked at more of a superstar in Dallas in a second. But I get now why you talked about this guy as an Olympian, Daniel.
And 6 or 7 more years at $5.25 million.
That's such a good contract for a guy that's 25.
Oh,
Anaheim, my God. Where's Kevin BX? Oh, yeah, he's.
sorry,
they still have Josh Manson.
Oh, thank God.
No, he's going to be a Leaf apparently.
Remember how much they love him though. Remember that analogy they used.
Dermot Bracco in a second.
Yeah. Okay.
What was it like? they love Josh Manson
more than Friedman loves his wife.
His wife, yeah.
Yeah, I think your wife loves you is how much the Ducks love Josh Manson. Okay, Heiskanen? Chris Dallas?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Really?
Who?
I think Heiskanen.
Mike, why not Heiskanen? Because I think the three of us are saying Heiskanen.
I don't know. I just want to start chaos, but
And I was gonna say Corey Perry, but that's not liked on this show apparently. If I bring him up,
realistically, he deserves it. I think. I don't know. I really wanted to give it to somebody else. Like I wanted to give it.
What do you have against Miro Heiskanen?
I wanted to give it to Yoel Kiviranta.
Thank you.
Was that him? Was that Kivaranta?
No.
Who the hell was that? Who just?
I'll tell you after.
Yoel Kiviranta?
That's what I mean. It was all of a sudden.
No, I'll tell you after.
Okay.
No.
Who are you?
No.
Honestly, yeah. I'd probably give it to Miro Heiskanen. He's just been the only performer that I've really seen out of this team after I mean they looked great when they beat Colorado, but I mean they did not look amazing in the last two games. I mean they won by 1-0 against Vegas in what was the most boringest game of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a good game. Yesterday was I was going crazy with just how much physicality there was, just banging and crashing. But at the same time, you cannot overlook the fact that Miro Heiskanen is Adam's age, and he has 21 points in 18 playoff games. He's also. Yeah, he's their defenseman of the future, like John Klingberg, but yeah, I mean, I was trying to make a case
right-handed.
Hold on a minute.
right-handed, yeah.
I was trying to make a case for some of their forwards, but honestly,
No.
What? Heiskanen was a '99 kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Wait, Mike, how old are you?
2000.
Oh, so you're a baby, okay, all right.
Oh,
We're a year apart.
I felt attacked.
wow.
I'm like, am I being the old one here? And then Daniel's in the quiet,
Fun fact: the two editors at Ryerson right now for the sports thing are the same age.
You and Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Will's been to another school, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to change thingies, kids. It's do what you want to do. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm switching from Ryerson journalism this year to U of T.
you have get the frick out of here.
Where are you going?
Studies.
If we weren't on voice ed, I would have said something much more colorful there than I'm going to.
No,
Okay,
guys said they go to U of T. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go to U of T for gender
Well,
studies.
I thought you were going to Carleton.
Yeah, you're right.
I heard the rumors. There were rumblings of that. I remember that.
Ryerson.
You know, I live right across the street from Carleton, so might as well. I mean, when you think about it.
Smelly Carleton.
By the way, so Mike, you predicted Point, Theodore, Heiskanen, and a round selection of either Lee, Barzell, or Bailey for the Islanders. I chose Hedman, Barzell, Theodore, Heiskanen. Daniel, you went Point, Nelson, Stone, Heiskanen, and then Alex Point, Barzell, Theodore, Heiskanen. Heiskanen?
Now what? No, Heiskanen. And now here's the real money. How much money are we putting on the table for this?
None.
I'm kidding.
How many Sour Patch Kids?
$500.
Okay, you know what? You know what else we can do quickly?
Next month's rent.
No.
You're getting me excited.
Ice
So,
stakes.
Why we have you, just so you know, Alex said Tampa in 7, Daniel said Tampa in 6, I said Islanders in 6. What's your prediction for the Islanders-Tampa series?
I think I'm in a pool for that, actually. Let me see. I think I had the Islanders, or I had Tampa in 6. Pretty sure I had Tampa in 6, Vegas in 5.
Oh.
And that's because I had Vegas in 7, actually, because I originally put them against Colorado, and then guess what happened? So I'll put Vegas in 6.
Okay.
And then, yeesh, this is tough. I already said Islanders take Lightning in 6.
Okay.
You said the Islanders take Lightning in 6.
No, I said Light, and I said, about the Islanders, yeah, I'll take Lightning in 6.
Okay. Do the Raptors push it to a Game 7?
I want them to, but my bets do not have them on that. No.
Unbelievable.
I just want to say on Twitter,
You mean you bet on probability and not emotion?
Listen, sir. There are 2 number 1 rules of gambling. Number 1, you're dying.
That's like Fight Club.
What's the rules, Mike?
Never
Yeah.
bet like a fan.
Okay.
It's very important. And number 2, never bet the under.
Never bet the under.
Always the over.
Daniel, who's winning the cup?
Ooh, the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay, Mike, who's winning the cup?
Vegas all the way. I'm on the Vegas bandwagon. I love this team.
Alex, who's winning the cup?
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Screw you, anyways. You don't know anything about hockey.
I'm going to say the Islanders are going to win.
Screw you.
Oh, yeah, I'm the one who knows nothing about hockey, right, Mike? Okay. Oh.
They're in the conference finals. Don't say I don't know anything about hockey.
Mike, I picked the Lightning, and he said I don't know anything about hockey.
Okay. Okay.
No,
well,
you know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. It's gonna be a cup final between Tampa and Vegas. But I will say that traditionally over the last few years, I would think it's prudent to say that Western Conference hockey is, for the last decade or so, probably longer, has been very, very, very physical in comparison to the East.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that the only team that can handle that kind of physicality or like thrive with it, especially like a team with Vegas, if they go to the final, is Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa will throw that body. Tampa does throw that body, and I think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath of a final if it's those two, which I'm predicting.
Well, Goudreau and I always forget the other. Coleman and then of course Yanni Gord have just been pests, so they
Yeah.
I'm my predictions are that I really hope it's Vegas and Tampa. You could be right, Mike, when you said to us that a texter, I can't remember, saying that it was probably Tampa's year. They're on it. Did you? I forgot to tell Mike, but I don't even think you know about the armchair GM segment. Alex and Daniel, did you find an armchair GM that we can look at?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I didn't, so we'll focus on Alex's.
I missed the segment. What is this?
Let me pull it up. Give me a
So
second.
you know the armchair GM thing on Cap
I was
Friendly?
going to say on Cap Friendly, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a thing where like we just pick one apart for fun, and we'll end the show with this because I know Daniel joked we can cap off at 3 hours, and I think we're definitely closing on that.
No.
We just passed 2.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's go for another one.
Took a little break in there, so it's actually more like 1.5.
Yeah, we started past 2:45. I picked obviously one that was Toronto. There were multiple trades, but I want to pinpoint this one.
Can you screen share it?
Fine.
So we can, and if you want to see the trade, go to YouTube and check it out, people.
Fine.
Then share the video online.
You're gonna see which
Sure, I'm looking right
podcasts I have to listen to.
Your
You see
mom-
my screen?
Podcast.
They're all podcasts. Do you see them?
Yes.
This trade specifically.
It's a horrible trade.
I know, what an ugly trade. That's why I picked it. Josh Manson for Travis Dermott, Pierre Engvall, and a second. If I'm Bob Murray, I hang up the phone.
I just don't get why some people just don't listen to Elliot Friedman when he says it's not happening.
They also signed what's his name?
Radko
Radko Gudas at 3 years for $2.8 million.
He's making more than that. Yeah, never mind. This segment's boring, isn't it? We got to work on that.
Okay. Well, you got to pick.
That was
No,
terrible.
you just got to pick crazier trades. I just couldn't find one earlier.
I'm not taking that trade at all.
No, absolutely not. That's why I picked it.
The second one, like I asked him to for the show.
I'm sorry.
What? I have a read of the week too. Do you want that one?
Hold on, before you do, did you get a read of the week, Daniel?
If he doesn't,
I did, but I didn't
No, he
start
didn't.
it.
that's a lie.
Alex, what's your read of the week?
It's Thomas Drance and Arpon Basu. Game of Chirps.
I love our Tom Basu. He's the best.
That's my read of the week.
Game of Chirps.
Game of Chirps.
What's the article about?
Apparently Thomas Drance was writing down all the chirps he heard from the wherever the hell they were sitting, and I guess Arpon Basu was doing the same in Toronto. And they just wrote a bunch of chirps, and I thought that was hilarious.
Go dye your hair is my favorite chirp of all time from now. Who was that? Drew Miller?
I don't
He
know.
had gray hair.
Oh yeah, Drew Miller.
Whatever.
That's great, Drew Miller.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No.
Oh,
Oh.
this is very embarrassing, but
Okay.
I just got Steve Dangle's book.
Oh, you just got it?
I just got it.
Oh my god.
So that's my read of the week. Guys, I better read it.
Late to the party.
I know.
Read the first half of Frankenstein for a class by Monday. Okay. If I guess this is everything.
That is everything.
Okay. Well, listeners, see you later.
For now.
That's all I have to say. Take it easy. I'll be listening to you guys when you do shows. So.
Perfect. So all the Leafs content from now on.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to skip past whenever I hear the Leafs being talked. Normally, I just skip to when I talk. I'm like, beautiful. It sounds
wow.
I don't do that.
I would have believed it.
Daniel, you're good at doing the outro thing.
I don't know. It's like your last episode for a while. I feel like you should do it.
Okay, someone do it. Someone do it.
Well, if you enjoyed the show, which why freaking wouldn't you? This was a great, fun show. If you're listening to this on like Spotify or anything like that, give the show a follow. If you're on iTunes, give it a rating, 5 stars. Leave a review. If you didn't like the show, we'll just let us know what you didn't
Cry
like.
about it.
We'd love to get out. We'd love to know how we can always improve the show. Voice Ed, thank you for being a great platform as always. Check out the YouTube channel. We mentioned that a ton. Check out my YouTube channel for all your Habs needs. Check out my analysis on Jake Allen's trade. I freaking love it. Check out all our social medias, including Mike's. Check out his stuff at the Eye Opener. Check out Daniel and the Ryerson. If you live in Toronto, try and check out the Ryerson because that's going to be happening. Love work. There is a civil war starting now. The Eye Opener versus the Ryerson. Take your sides now. Because why wouldn't you? It's going to be a civil war.
Team I. Team I.
That's it. Bye, listeners.
Bye.
Peace.